Okay, we're recording. Good morning, everybody. Gina and I spend a lot of time going through Facebook and seeing a lot of things. So we've decided that we really need to break some of this down and really debunk, get rid of some of the stereotype behind it, and just plain rant about some of the issues that we see that as business owners that really come from the corporate world. We have serious corporate backgrounds. I have over 25 years of business experience. Gina has over 10. We have a very different background than many people that we're seeing in the small women's business world. And there are things that just drive us nuts.
Yeah, I just can't with Facebook land anymore. We've got to talk about it. Got to talk about it.
The amount of unprofessionalism and the amount of just plain lies that we see every day on Facebook that just drive us crazy. So we decided to just sit down and talk to y'all about it. We have our coffee and we have Zoom and we have each other that we could talk to, and we have become each other's best source of complaining.
Yeah, basically.
Complaining about it all, but having somebody that we could truly vent to. So you get to all listen to us because we do this, and our team members have been like, oh, you totally need a video channel for that. So here we are.
I feel like they provoke us now.
I do feel like, because a couple of these that we have a long list, we have a Slack channel, and we actually have a vlog rant list, and a couple of them have come from other people on the team lately. So.
Yeah, they just put it in there just to see if you and I will respond, I think.
Yep. So today we're specifically talking about unprofessionalism in the small business world. And I think today especially, both Gina and I are seeing this immensely. Holy crow. It's ridiculous.
The last 2 days, I don't know what is in the water or in the air right now, but the last couple of days, I have just been like, what? Where is this even, how is this even a thing?
I don't understand. I don't understand why people think that some of the things that they've done are okay. So this is what I've dealt with. I had a client who hired me to do Facebook ads. And by the way, these are the last handful. I've got 6 people out there that I'm doing them for, and I refuse to do them anymore because this is not the first time this has happened. She decided she didn't have the money to spend on the Facebook ads, so she did a chargeback. After I had done all the work, the ads were running. They were running well, and instead of arguing with her, she never removed me as an admin from her account. I removed the work that I did.
Good. I don't blame you. I mean, if you're not getting paid for it, then you don't get to keep it.
And I have seen that so much. I had somebody a few months back, we had built her a whole website. I did a whole entire branding course with her, and she did a chargeback after it was all done. After 3 months worth of one-on-one sessions with me, she did a chargeback because I didn't provide her the service she wanted.
How did you know how?
We went through the whole entire thing. We wrote all of the content for her whole entire website. She didn't have a business name. She didn't have a business idea when we started. I provided all of that for her. And then she did a chargeback.
See, that is just people that are okay. Oh my God. That I totally chalk that up to these people that are trying to live abundantly and invest in themselves for their money mindset. So they go out and they invest in this thing, and then they don't get what they think they're supposed to. So they're trying to take it back. Mm-hmm. Thinking that it's going to make something right with the universal accountant, and that's not how it works. Jesus.
No, not at all.
Whether or not you are whether or not the results came that she was expecting, the service was still provided. It had there is no, anytime any work is done anywhere, there are no guarantees. And that's something that I have such issue with, is people are out here guaranteeing and naming their stuff, how to make your first 5, 10Ks, 5K, 100K, whatever it is. And they're guaranteeing a dollar amount. or there is no guarantees in business at all, or anything really. Everything is a freaking gamble. Like every time you try something, you're legitimately rolling the dice. So this mentality of I paid you, so I should get said thing is complete. And it's just so stupid.
Especially for those of us that offer like business strategy sessions, branding strategy sessions. You only get as much out as you put into something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I can give you the perfect strategy. It doesn't mean I'm going to, because I'm human too. I can give you guidance. I have 25 plus years experience in the corporate world helping corporations do this. I think I kind of know what I'm talking about. I also have a master's degree in marketing and business management. Kind of know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But if you don't put the work in, it's only as good as nothing. I mean, I can give you all of the advice and I could be dead on perfect, but if you don't do something with it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Or even
the universe doesn't drop things in your lap, honey. You have to do the work.
Yeah, that too. And that the support team that you have that's trying to render this service for you is they're not psychics. They're not picking stuff up by osmosis. Like you have to communicate. Like that's something that I'm dealing with right now is I communicated, I asked for feedback, I sent a project outline, and all of that was completely ignored. I request information to move a project forward. I get a snarky email back saying there must have been a communication that this is not what I wanted, blah, 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 blah. But it's exactly what we talked about. And I asked you about it. And like, you can't I shouldn't have to chase you to get your project done. I'm doing my part, but you have to do your part. And your part is providing me all of the accurate and appropriate materials and information that I need to go complete your project. If you're not getting all of that to me, I can't do the work. And if I'm asking you for it and then you're giving me shit, basically, like
or nothing at all,
or nothing at all. Yeah, or no response at all, just falling off the face of the earth and completely ignoring my emails. There's nothing I could do for you. Like, sorry. And then also, you can't not pay me and expect me to do the work because you've signed a contract. So you're contractually obligated. And in the contract, it also states that you're supposed to do your part as well. So in the contract that you signed, you're supposed to be doing all of this. That's how this works. That's how business works. That's how consulting works. I do my part. You do your part. I'm not showing up and I don't know what's going on in your business. Like, I don't have a clue. I don't have all of your passwords. I don't have all of your accounts. I don't know where this lives or where that lives. And I most certainly don't know what all has been done. And I'm not going to trust you when you tell me that majority of it's been done. I just need XYZ thing, because then when it's not all complete, you're going to blame me for that. And I have a real issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want me to only do a certain piece because you've done everything else, then that's all we're doing.
Like, I always tell, I have myself branded as the rock star fairy queen, and I am your business fairy godmother. Yes, that's goofy and all of that, but I might be a fairy godmother and can give you the fairy dust that you need to get your business moving, but I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I can't read your mind. I don't know if you've changed your mind. I don't know if you don't provide me with what I need, I can't do the job. That does not make it my fault. That does not mean I'm going to skip billing you for this month because you didn't do what you were supposed to do as part of the contract. We all have these clients, and when you deal with small businesses, and I hate saying this, and you're going to hear probably this from me more than anything. I come from a men's world. I come from the IT world.
I come from men's world too. So
I have male clients. I have female clients, both the small business world, both same size businesses, same types of businesses. And let me tell you, I don't deal with this shit in any of the men's businesses I work with.
No, I don't.
Tell ladies, because there is no reason for that.
Yeah, I don't know what's in the men either. And I don't like, what is the deal with women? Like, that's what I want to know, because I also come from a men's world. I came from IT more on the project side than the implementation side where you were. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I'm not going to drop my expectations of how a client should interact with me, like, just because you don't have a clue what you're doing. And I think that that's a lot of what it boils down to, is like a lot of these women small business owners that we're seeing, because I've come across some small business owners that didn't behave this way. they were just as good as the men. So
yeah, it's definitely not all, but unfortunately,
it's majority.
It's a majority. I mean, out of my last 25 client projects, I've had issues with 20 women.
Yeah, and
why? Because there's no reason for this.
No,
that's the level of professionalism that is needed.
Yeah, and I think that that's the issue, is these women don't have professionalism because they've never been in an environment that required it. Think about it. Almost all of the women, and this is predominantly in Facebook business land. Like I'm going to say it. This is predominantly Facebook business land. These women were all network marketers first, or they were waiting tables, or they were doing something first before they came. So they don't know how to be professionals. They don't know how. And they need to learn.
Yes.
They need to learn. There is a level of professionalism and professional courtesy that goes out there, which, by the way, guys, like all the ideas and all the work that you see out there does not belong to the universe. It belongs to the person that created it for you, or the person that you learned it from. That's who it belongs to. And this whole notion of like this like I agree with collaboration over competition 100%, but I don't agree with this schoolyard culture that's out there. It's like a bunch of high school like nibby pamby clicky mean girls, and it needs to stop.
It does. It's so bad. I can't believe that it's as bad as it is.
I'm actually shocked. I have been, like I said, that nothing from Facebook land shocked me anymore, and I have been shocked the last couple of weeks.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, and this is where I've operated for the last 9 months or so, but still things keep coming up that I just can't believe. Clients who hire you to do something, and you are the expert, you know how to do something, you provide the service, and they slam you for not knowing how to do things their way. Well, your way broke the thing. That's why you hired me. I fixed the thing. And this is from the tech side of things, where it is quantifiable, and we fixed it. It works now. It didn't before. And they still say that you didn't do the job right, and I think it all comes down to they've just spent money their husbands got pissed off about. And you know what? You know how hard it is for two women to sit here and say that we are extremely disappointed and disgusted with that?
It's heartbreaking, because I say all the time that women can do just as good a job as men, and that women aren't as bad. And now I'm out here and I'm like, can I please go back to working with the boys?
It's horrible. And when I sit down at the end of my day, I should feel a sense of accomplishment. And instead I wanted to sit down and cry, because I'm just so frustrated. And I'm not frustrated with the service that I provided. I mean, am I perfect all the time? No. That's just, I have made some big mistakes. That happens. But I own up to those.
Yeah.
But I also don't rely on somebody else to tear down to make up for that.
Yeah. We own it and we keep it moving. That's how it should be. And it shouldn't be this like slander fest. It shouldn't, or at the end of it, like, I own my part, you own your part, because unfortunately, and I know that this is going to be hard for some of these women to hear, but there's never a right party.
Ever.
Nobody is right. Somebody is always in the wrong somewhere. Otherwise something wouldn't have gotten to the point that it got to. There's always somebody always screwed up somewhere. Somebody either dropped the ball in communication, or somebody let something go too long. There's always something. So, and that requires a certain amount of emotional intelligence that as a business owner you should own, especially if you're a service provider. And I hate to break it to you, but if you're a coach, you're a service provider. And it's not, you can't always blame the client when they're not getting the results that they should.
If you are in a relationship, I don't care what the relationship is, business relationship, personal relationship, friend relationship, whatever it is, there's two parties.
Yeah.
They both take the blame. And if you have a client, I've had this happen to me, so but if you have a client that, if there's something wrong, if you don't tell the person that you're working with that you don't like how something's going, that you're not comfortable with this email sequence, you're not comfortable with this ad, you're not comfortable with the graphic, you're just as much to blame for that if you don't say anything.
Exactly. If you stay silent, and especially if the person providing you that service is consistently asking you for feedback. They're consistently asking. They're asking for your approval. They're asking for this. They're asking for that. They're giving you boundaries and parameters, and you just ignore them.
And then the next day you go on Facebook and totally blast, I just had this horrible graphic designer I worked with. They were terrible. They didn't do a good job. Well, did you ask for changes? Did you tell them why you didn't like it? You're just as much at fault for that bad job as the person providing the service.
Absolutely.
And maybe even more so because you didn't provide proper feedback.
Exactly. And I think that's the big thing here is that if you don't provide proper feedback, you're more in the wrong than the service provider. Because if you don't provide feedback, they gave you exactly what you asked for. You cannot blame them for that.
And if you don't go into a relationship knowing what you need, don't go into the relationship either. Because if you don't know what you need, again, we're not mind readers. We're good. Some of us are very, very good at what we do, but we can't read minds.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you aren't clear on what you need, then you need to hire somebody to get you clear on what you need before you hire the person to do the work.
Yeah, and you can't the other thing is you can't decide on one thing and totally flip the script and not communicate it. That's really important. That
happens so much.
It happens all the time.
So if that would have happened in the corporate world, that is a whole entire change of project. That's a whole entire cost structure.
That's a 2 or 3 month, it's a 2 or 3 month delay because of all of the changes that you have to go through.
So that's for a major project, but even for a small project, I had that happen in the IT world, and that was a change order, and a change order was a minimum $500.
I hated change orders. You got to fill out the little form, and then you send it up to change management, and then change management is kicking it back, asking you 50,000 questions because the detail wasn't appropriate, and something was. So it's at least 7 days just to get the change order submitted sometimes.
So if you have changes, great. Let us know. We'll make those changes, but don't expect them to come in at the same price, things to come in at the same price when we've already set up projects or we've already started down the path that we started on. People who think that making a changing their mind is okay, it's not okay.
Yeah, or you just brought up something really important. Or they think that they can completely change their mind and completely change the scope of the project and that the money should not change.
Mm-hmm.
Because almost always the project scope never, 9 times out of 10, it decreases. Beyond that, it's always an increase in scope every time. And an increase in scope costs more.
An increase in scope costs more, and you just had whoever just managing and making sure that all the details are right and everything is planned correctly, which would be Gina and I in this case.
Yeah, which does.
We just spent 2 to 3 hours just on that alone.
Trying to make sure that it was correct.
So that everybody was happy in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, so that we could move forward because we have to map the thing out. And then we're going to send that outline to you to make sure that we didn't human, which is why there's a constant request for feedback. It's not a request for feedback to kiss your ass. It's a request for feedback because we're a human being and are going to make an error.
We might miss something from a conversation. We might miss something. We may have missed an email in a long chain of emails, whatever it is. That's why we always are emailing the client, putting it in writing. Please let us know. Let us know if this is right. And that's just a level of, it's something that was drilled into me in business school, in corporate world. You follow up. CYA, follow up in writing.
Follow up.
I don't write those emails for my own good, people. Well, no, I do, but
we're not writing them. We're writing them for our mental health, yes, but they're for everyone. The thing is with the CYA mentality that most people, and I'm finding in Facebook land especially, they don't want anything in writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's terrible because having it in writing protects you, the customer, just as much as it protects the service provider, which is why we do it. it's protections in place for everybody, because if it's in writing, you can't dispute it. Either side. Mm-hmm. We can't dispute it, because then it could have legitimately been that we missed the email. So then, we're saying we're sorry. Or it could be that you forgot what you said, but it's written down and everybody has agreed to it. So that creates a lane for everybody to work in, and it makes it go so much smoother. But if you can't be bothered with responding to the email, even though it was written, feedback was requested, and you ignore it, you cannot get mad and say, oh, miscommunication, there must have been a miscommunication somewhere. I don't see how, when there was a full conversation around it, everything was agreed upon, then it was emailed out, and you didn't respond to the email.
That is not miscommunication. That is you, the business owner, who dropped the ball and decided that what you're already paying us for wasn't important enough to make sure it was right.
Yeah, because you've paid us, and we take that very seriously. So we're trying to serve you. And we cannot serve you if you don't hold up your end of the deal. Mm-hmm. And I think that it sickens, it disgusts me the way that VAs and OBMs and graphic designers and all the people that are behind the scenes that create all of this stuff for these influencers and coaches and all of these people are treated like dogs. And because without them, you wouldn't have your business. So it's so disrespectful.
You want to know what? There's something to really keep in mind, and I have not felt so disrespected in my life. I come from the men's world, and I come from the front end where Gina was working project management. That meant she was back end hiding. I spoke at conferences where I was literally the only woman in a room of 2,000 people. I have worked one-on-one in a boardroom with 20 men and been the only woman and had to prove myself. I have never been disrespected as much as I have been by women, small women-owned businesses.
So much same. Like,
I can't believe that, because I have dealt with hella levels of disrespect for men.
Yeah, I have too.
Been hit on, and I feel worse about dealing with women-owned businesses. That shouldn't be something that we have to deal with.
No, I agree with you. I like, now I'm like, oh my God, you cannot be serious. Like, because there's always somebody crying. There's all this passive aggression. It's awful, and I dread it. Like, just this morning, you guys, like, Danielle was laughing at me. Every time I left my office, it took me, like, I was procrastinating to go back into it. I was finding excuses to not go back to work.
Well, I had some internet issues this morning and dealt with the client that was driving me batty this morning. First thing, and I start super early, so I start at 4:30 a.m. And I went back to bed and was procrastinating. At 8 o'clock, I still hadn't gone back to my desk. Mind you, I'm an early morning person. I want to be productive in the morning. And I just, with the BS that I've dealt with for the last 48 hours, it's just crazy.
It is. Like, this morning, like, because I usually am excited to go through my morning routine and to get into the office and get started. Like, I genuinely love what I do. And this morning I was like, oh my God, because I got a snarky email from a client, and it was like, are you kidding? And then, oh my God, I just can't deal with this. I can't today. So, it was women, it was all my female clients that were driving me insane. And it should not be that way. It makes me sad, because one of the reasons I stepped into this industry was because I wanted to support women. I want to make that clear. I started this because I wanted to support female-owned businesses.
Look at my branding. This is what I wanted to do for so long, because I worked in the men's world and I got sick of being hit on. I got sick of talking literally in Star Wars movie quotes. I have done corporate meetings in Star Wars movie quotes. I am not kidding.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes. So, I was looking forward and couldn't wait to work in this. And I have had some amazing, rewarding experiences working with women. I've met Gina, and I've met Ashley, who is my biz bestie and partner in crime and Be Boss Girl. But I also have had some of my lowest lows dealing with this. So, as women-owned businesses, listen up, ladies. if you need some help, if you don't understand what that level of professionalism should look like and stuff, come on back, listen to us, because let me tell you, we've been there, we've done that. And with the Business Architect and Be Boss Girl and C-Suite Strategy Group, that as Gina and I together combined, we can teach you how to do this. We could teach you to be viewed as, and therefore level up to being a real professional business.
Yes, because I'm just going to throw this out here. Do you guys think that Amy Porterfield behaves that way? Do you think Marie Forleo behaves that way? No, Marie Forleo has a clause in her terms of service that says you can't bash her products. You want to talk about genius.
That's awesome.
No negative feedback anywhere.
Note to self, that needs to be in our new contract.
Right? But there, like, learn from people that know. Like that, because that's the only way. Like, if you want to level up your business and keep growing and getting to that next space, business ethics and business etiquette is extremely important to learn. You're not exempt from it just because you've started your business on the internet.
That just because you started business doesn't make you all knowing. Because believe me, me with my experience and my education still doesn't know everything. I have a lot to learn. So make sure that you're learning from those that know better.
Yep. Always remain a student. Remain a student always.
Okay, ladies, have a good day. We'll be back.